easy. There's no need to scream and shout. As far as I can see, love, thinking somehow you to leave in peace. Love, as far as I can see, love, thinking somehow you to leave in peace. Love, peace, love, in peace, love, in peace, love, in peace, love.
I forgot that I've installed push to talk option. Yeah. At once, I need to close something. Alright. I'm ready. Yeah, same here. My top 5 is here. My notes are here. It's here. Yeah. Pretty much everything is fine. And I think I will talk with Russian accent this time. Maybe. Or is it fake Russian? That's nice. So we have a music now. Electronic crowd sounds nice. Really nice. Some people like, some people don't. We are streaming on YouTube, right? Also, we are streaming on YouTube, right? Well, let's see. I'll just pull it parallelly, like without sound or nothing, so that we can, that I can. Also, how's the sound on my side? put reminder on Twitter and Facebook and stuff. Alright. I see. Alright. Yes, the show is on the road. Kinda nervous. Well. Yep, it's just you and me. Apparently. I have 2 viewers.
There we go. Okay.
Alright, so shall we start?
We are live. And my camera is on. There we go.
Yeah.
I usually don't use a camera, but it's because I'm usually on my Xbox. Doesn't work so well on the Xbox.
Yeah. I'm not using camera usually either. Well, mostly because my camera is crap. But
Yeah, I'm on my laptop, so it's not the greatest, but it works.
yeah, same here. Except mine doesn't.
And you can see my Christmas tree behind me, which I have not taken down, because we are still doing Christmas with my in-laws this weekend, and there's really no point in taking it down when it still has presents under it.
Well, in Russia, we take New Year's tree, like in February, and some people even take it down at March.
Yeah, that's pretty typical around here too, mostly because we're lazy.
Yeah, pretty much. And it saves on atmosphere and the decoration some. Besides, cats love it, especially mine.
So do my
especially-
dogs. Make sure I've got everything running. It looks like it.
All right.
Alright. Well, Flask couldn't join us, but you've got myself and Dimitri here. He is the editor of our website. He also helps me out with all sorts of stuff on Discord and make sure I don't break things. So, say hello.
Hey. Hey people, it's me, Dmitry, or Newton as I'm known on Discord and Twitter. And on our site, now that I think about it.
Do I have it set up as your nickname on the website?
Nah, we didn't really fix that login bug, so I just logged in with my Google account, and it's Newton.
Ah! Yep, that makes sense. That login bug gets old pretty fast.
Yeah. I mean, it's around like for more than a year, I think.
Yeah, and they still haven't fixed it, so that
Yeah.
is on WordPress and not. That is one thing I didn't break. I'm not at fault for that one.
Well, that's a start.
See? And so far I haven't broken this, so we'll see how the day goes.
Yeah, I mean, start, I think. So, let's talk games.
Games are my favorite topic.
And I think they mix pretty well so far. Can you hear me?
I can. How was how was 2018 for you with games?
Well, talks not corporate bullshit, not gaming companies, not gaming community. Then I think it went pretty well. There were some really good games that I enjoyed, some really good expansions, DLCs, and so on and so on. I mean, some of my top games of all times were released this year. So I love this year so far.
Yeah, some of my
I hope that 2000.
some of my
I hope
new all-time favorites just released too.
Yeah. Even though some of my all-time favorites were, while released this year, were around for far longer than that.
You talking DLCs?
I'm talking RimWorld.
Ah, of course.
That was beautiful.
I have not played it.
Really?
No.
I thought that Space Cowboys would be great for you, and you can have a full colony of Space Cowboys.
Oh my, you just had me.
Oh, hey Jet.
Hey, Jet. No,
Jet.
you're fine, dude.
Yeah. We still don't have much people. So,
I'm over here breaking things. Yeah, I still haven't played RimWorld, but I don't do a whole lot of PC gaming anymore.
yeah, I'm regrettably still full-on PC gamer. Well, I want to play some Xbox and PS4 games as well, but
I used to play PC quite a bit. I've got a really, really nice PC. I just haven't really been able to. Like right now, it's not even set up properly. My desk is kind of like being used for storage at the moment. So that's something I'd like to do soon, is get it cleared off and get it put back together and ready to roll again, because I have some PC games that I need to play or I haven't played in a while that I really miss. Especially like Final Fantasy XIV, I'm behind on it, and they're releasing a new expansion this summer. So I should probably catch up before I go out and buy it.
That's nice. Actually, my computer is set up right behind my laptop. Like, I'm looking at its monitor over my laptop.
I am.
And
I'm on my laptop. I need to get a new monitor for the desktop, and I'd like to add a second monitor. It's going good, Jet. How are you?
yeah, it's pretty much. It's going well.
Can't complain too much. It's just a Wednesday.
Yep.
Nothing fancy.
So, since 2018 treated us so well, maybe we should start with our top games of 2018.
Yeah, go ahead and start.
Well, we decided to actually held the top 3 games of 2018, but I have top 4 since 2 of them are so much. It's too hard to decide which one of them is better and which one of them is worse. So I've just decided to add both of them.
That's
So
fine.
my number 8 is my number 4 is RimWorld by Ludion Studios. I've already mentioned it. It was in development for quite a long time, like 5 years, 4 years, something like that. I've gotten it like 2 years ago. Played it almost religiously for those 2 years, and it just keeps getting better with each update. And in this year, it finally released this fall, actually, November or October, something like that.
Yeah, it was.
So
It was in early access for a long time, wasn't it?
yeah, like 2013, 2014, something like that.
Wow.
I can't quite remember, and it started off. Well, I've actually played it when it just started from my friends who is in this type of game, but it didn't quite get me as it did. Well, later. It was pretty much bare bones. There was not much in terms of replayability, and well, graphics are not the strong side of this game. Just FYI. But since then, I've rediscovered it for myself, and it became so good. I just can't really. I just can't really relay my experience with this game. It's just so good. So if 2018 wasn't that much good with its games, I would easily put it on top one, like game of the year. Game of the year for me. Personal recommendations. If you enjoy sci-fi, if you enjoy that frontier feel of undiscovered places which you can colonize, where your colonies can die at any moment because of raiders, illness, or something like that, play RimWorld. That's my personal recommendations. You guys will not regret it at all. It's in my all-time favorites. Yeah.
I still need to check it out. You talk about it all the time in Discord.
Yeah, because it's that great. Actually, I've played it more than a few thousand hours, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
Good
it's just,
lord.
it's sucked me in like very few games can.
So what's
Even
your
my
number?
favorite, my number 3.
Yeah, what's your number 3?
Well, my number 3 is BattleTech by Harebrained Schemes. I've already told you about a few of their games like Shadowrun Returns, Shadowrun Dragonfall, Shadowrun Hong Kong, and this time Harebrained Schemes decided to recreate another one of their tabletop games on PC. It's BattleTech. You control of well, basically it's a game where you control a squad of giant mechs against other giant mechs and tanks and some like turrets. I mean, that's pretty much all you need to know, because that alone earned it a spot on my list. I mean, how long was since the last game of about giant mechs was out? I don't remember it.
It's been a while.
At least not on PC. I mean, Nintendo probably has some, what with its Japanese releases.
Titanfall
But-
2.
Well, it's a different kind of game.
True. That one wasn't too long ago. 2017? Like early 2017, late 2016?
Yeah, I thought it was in 2016 actually, but I haven't played it that much since Titanfall 1 was. It just didn't just hook me.
They're
You
fun
know.
games, but, I'm not a big fan of online only.
Yeah, same here. I prefer my single player companies be actually single player.
Right.
Yeah. Well, BattleTech also has turn-based strategy in it, where you... Well, have you played XCOM?
Yes.
Well, it's basically XCOM with giant mechs.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. You also manage your mercenary outfit with cool new weapons, so you can salvage destroyed mechs. You can rip off your hire, your employer, and so on and so on. It is, well, for a game that's based on a quite simple foundation, it's actually pretty deep, and it has a good story, if a little short, and it allows you to play further after you finish the main story.
I love games like
They
that.
are- yeah, same here. They actually added a new expansion a few months ago, Flashpoint, I think, where they expanded on this content, post main story content. So they've turned it even more, even better. So I actually like that game. So that's why I was split. And on one hand, we have Lawless Frontier Colony. On the other hand, we have Giant Mechs duking it out in a deathly battle.
So what
So
makes
it
number
was-
two?
Number 2 is actually a DLC. Crusader Kings 2 Holy Fury
Oh yes,
by
I knew this.
Paradox Interactive. Yes, this is my all-time favorite game. Crusader Kings 2 is just... It is the game where I put in more than 8,000 hours in.
Good Lord Almighty.
I'm playing it for like 6 years already, since 2012. I found this game when it came out, and I've yet to uninstall it by my own. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, this is the game that just keeps you interested. Even then, you learn all of its mechanics, how to do crazy things like conquer island with Arabs or something like that. You can still do so much with this game that it just keeps you hooked on. And Paradox, while doing some, let's just say, divisive stuff with their DLC policy, they keep you hooked on it. They continue to push out interesting DLCs that add new mechanics, new events, new stuff, along with free patches. So that game continues to improve. Even without DLCs, it continues to improve. So for that, they have my respect. Good work.
That's a great way for a lot of devs to do things, especially when it comes to older games. Because there are people who really like to stick with the same games over, years.
Yeah. And if you're a fan of grand strategies, medieval strategies, that stuff, then Crusader Kings 2 will probably be a game where you'll just keep playing it for a few years at least.
I love strategy games.
Yeah, it's a pretty great game. They've added, so with Holy Fury, why did I include it? Well, basically, they've reworked the basics of the game. They've reworked reformations, crusades. They've reworked duels between characters. Basically, they remade the game as it was, and it just keeps getting better. And I like it.
That's always nice.
And yeah, and a good point. They've created for this game a new whole pagan folk metal band.
Really?
Just for this game, yes. They created a folk metal band just for this game and for this expansion. That's pretty metal.
Okay, now you've caught my attention.
Yeah, the band is called Pagan Fury, by the way.
Pagan Fury, okay. I'll check them out.
Yeah, all in all, Paradox just keep going on. In fact, I would have added Stellaris as well, but too much bugs for now. Too
Too
much
much.
bugs.
Oh,
Yeah.
you've piqued Jet's interest too. Yeah, I love folk music, and I like metal music. My husband really likes metal music, so this might be a fun compromise for our upcoming road trip.
Mhm. That's great.
Be a fun surprise for him.
Surprises for road trips are, especially music surprises, are great. Unless the music is crap.
Yeah, that's true.
And at the top spot of my list is, well, let's just say one of the best RPGs I've ever played. Ever. And I'm a fan of RPGs since like 2003 or something. So that says a lot. It is Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire by Obsidian Entertainment. And that game is great. It doesn't just continue the story of the first game, but it improves on it, constantly builds up and to the sides. More quests, more companions, more gear, more places to explore, bigger map, better graphics, better music, better everything. More atmosphere.
I will admit I have not played even the first one.
Well, you probably should. I liked the first game, and it was pretty good in my opinion. I've replayed it a few times, which I don't do unless there are romantic options, actually. That's why I've played Mass Effect for like 48 times. Well, what can I say? BioWare knows their romance. And Pillars of Eternity, the first one, doesn't have romance, but it has an original setting. It actually has D&D style of rules, which is comprehensive and works actually, unlike Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, I know what you're getting at.
Yeah, and the Pillars of Eternity is a straight up improvement of the first game, and it took me by surprise actually. My only gripe with this game is that the main story is kind of short in comparison to the first one. It still took me like 26 hours to just reach the main story, ignoring all the side content.
That's not too bad. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah. Well, the first game took me like 38 hours.
Well, considering that most games over the last few years are only like 10 or 12 hours, which irks the ever-living hell out of me, 26 hours is pretty good.
Yeah, as I said, it is short in comparison to the first game. It is. It's still good. It's still good. It's still. How to say it? The writing is good. The characters are good. Everything is good. It's just a little step back from the first game. Everything else is a great leap forward.
That's always nice.
Yeah.
When a developer can take a good game and turn around and make it better, make it amazing, completely like just like blow the original out of the water. I love that.
Yeah. And Obsidian are uncontested masters for it,
Yeah,
at
they
least
are.
now. And, well, as such, Pillars of Eternity 2 take the crown of my top list of 2018. I haven't played Red Dead Redemption 2 or Assassin's Creed Origins or Odyssey since, well, my hardware is not up to the task. But I've played these games, and I find these games uh, something that I will recommend people to play.
It's refreshing to see a list that doesn't consist of the same 5 games that everybody else for the last year did, which is my list is 3 of those 5 games. So it's nice to see some difference somewhere.
Yeah, difference is good. I mean, competition is good, showing people that there are different genres, different games in those genres that they could play and not just play the same games. It's pretty great. They may not be AAA titles, but still,
They don't have to be AAA to
they're
be
worth
good.
playing. Yes, exactly.
I know a lot
They're
of
still
people.
good.
I think
Yeah.
Vlast was one of them. Let me see. Yeah, a lot of people, Vlast included, their favorite game of the year was Celeste, which is a indie title. I didn't play it. I don't like platformers. I know Jet's playing it right now, or did play it. I don't remember if he. Jet, did you finish that one yet? Yep. See, it's like Jet just said. Does need to be AAA to be good. Half this year's top games were indie. So, some of my top games were indie games. Some of my top games over the last few years have been indie games.
Well,
Beat all
yeah,
A
same
sides.
here. Now that I think, I mean, the only AAA title that I can call on my list is BattleTech, and well, everything is arguably indie except of Pillars of Eternity.
3 more rotations of the game increasing in difficulty. It's a big reason I don't really care for platformers. Is like they focus on so much on difficulty, and I don't have the patience to sit and play a game that is trying to test my patience. That is why I haven't beat Cuphead. It's a great game. It's a beautiful game, but my God, ugh, it irks me to no end. So yeah, I don't generally play platformer type games. My taste in indies are different. The gameplay is the worst part of the game. I've heard that, but I didn't put any indies on my top 3. There is an indie in my top 5. But a lot of my indies this year were ones that I played the last like have been out for the last couple of years. That they're ones I play a lot, or were early access titles that aren't out until this year. One of them is next week. But so my top 3 is a little more um, mainstream, but it's not too bad.
Mainstream is good as well. I mean, there is a reason why it is a mainstream.
Right, and of course, everybody's choice is God of War or Spider Man or. Oh, hey, Nurak, how's it going? AAA games are honestly slipping, in my opinion, too much stagnation and following old formulas. You say that as I'm about to go into, an old formula game. But there's some that I like when they, kind of stick to a formula, but I spend way too much time, sitting here putting hundreds of hours in games. So sometimes I like when they're a little similar, since I play so many so often. Indie titles are always trying to innovate and do something new. Yeah, that's one thing that I really like is indie developers are trying to be different. They're trying to do something new. They're not trying to bank on having a name. They're not banking on a name like Activision or Ubisoft or Bethesda. So that is
Or
one.
EA.
EA, yeah. They're not doing a lot of things EA is doing.
Yeah.
That's next week though.
Yeah. You've just got a glimpse in the next week show.
Yeah, we'll be talking about some AAA problems next week. But yeah, my top 3, I went a little, I went kind of boring. I went for number 3, God of War, number 2, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and number 1, Red Dead Redemption 2. But I really didn't play a whole lot of new games this year, not as often as I usually do. I kind of stuck with larger titles, like titles that I follow a little more. So I got more time out of them instead of just blowing through, okay, let's turn and buy the next one. So like I didn't buy Spider-Man because it came out so close to after some other games I just, that I'd been waiting for. Smash I didn't buy because I'm playing other games right now. I like when a game is good for the sake of it being good, and they put out an updated version every couple of years using the same formula, just updated, like Smash. And there's Call of Duty with 2 released a year and being the same game every single time. Yeah, you're right. That's a big difference, and I think, and that's a large reason why Assassin's Creed Odyssey made it to my list, especially number 2, is because there was a big problem with they were releasing the same game every year with just a different setting and a different character name, to the point like Unity was so bad. They turned around with Syndicate. They kind of went back to the way it was. It played better. It had great characters. It was a lot of fun. But then they took a break. Yeah, Odyssey was a completely different game. They took that 2-year break and released Origins, which was totally new for the series. It was a little more of an RPG. It was much larger scale. It had a totally unique character. I know Assassin's Creed 3, Connor was part Native American, but Origins saw the actual first assassin of color being an Egyptian man, and he was an awesome character. He was one of the greatest. But the overall gameplay, they changed up the gameplay in the battle system, and it worked so much better. But then this year they turned around and released Odyssey, and they took what was amazing about Origins and they just vamped it up. It runs smoother. There's a lot to do. There's so much to do. I am 200 hours into the game and only 60% done with the main quest because I've spent so much time exploring and taking out mercenaries and doing side quests, just enjoying the game. I don't feel bogged down like with some of the previous titles. I don't feel like I'm being withheld from finishing or like I need to finish it. I know a lot of people who have already finished it and they've still got over 100 hours in it. Quadrupled down on everything good on the series and deleted most of the garbage. Exactly. They got rid of a lot of the collecting nonsense. It's totally optional. It doesn't take over your map. But if you do want to go collect things, there's rewards for it.
Yeah, I like that type of collection actually. I
Yeah.
mean, not very much games do it right. It's usually you either has to do it, or you just they're just barely there. Like-
Yeah. But with the older Assassin's Creed games, I know like even Syndicate was a little like overwhelmed on the map with collectible items, and you never really got anything for it. It was just nice to collect things to get it out of your way when you went to look at the map. And they don't
Yeah.
do that with another thing with Origins and Odyssey is they added the birds to give you an overhead view and help you find things easier without having to smother your map with teeny tiny little, pinpoints and pictures of posters and other nonsense. You can just use the bird, like be like, oh man, I bet there's a chest and a a tablet in this area. So I just pull out, Icaros, or it's an eagle in this one, and then it just shows me on the compass on the screen instead of on my actual map. That is like the tiniest little detail that they fixed that just made it 1,000 times better for me, because sometimes I want to collect, sometimes I don't. And that's, one of those things that they kept adding to try to like lengthen the game, and it didn't work. It just sucked.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, now that I think, Origins and Odyssey are the great examples of how you can turn a stale and fallen down series and shape and put it back into shape and return the adoration of public which it held, instead of just closing it off and killing the studio.
Exactly.
Which is actually a shame, because some game series I've enjoyed, and because of one or two failures, studios were just closed. I mean, Mass Effect Andromeda is a great example. Game sucked. It had too much grind, but it had potential. The series is one of the best soft sci-fi series out there, in my opinion, of course. It was key.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the most popular, and yeah, Andromeda, it wasn't even that bad of a fail. Now, I have not played it. I am not big on sci-fi games. I know a lot of people, some people that hate it. I know more people that say it's not that bad. Okay, it's not the greatest, but it's not the worst. Andromeda was an actual disaster. It's a shame because it could have been outstanding. Right. And the worst part is now it's kind of destroyed the series because it sucked so much and it irritated fans of the series so much that we're not going to see more Mass Effect games.
Well, we'll probably see one or two, but the problem is they've been pushed like far away from us. Maybe in 5-6 years. I mean, we'll probably see The Elder Scrolls 6 before we'll see another Mass Effect game.
Which is sad, because they've already said The Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be a while.
Yeah, that's what I'm hinting at. Thing is, while the outrage was great, but the outrage at Unity was even bigger. It attracted even more hate, and it was even more of a disaster, actually, now that I think. But instead of killing of the series, they just took a break, made a little better game as a syndicate, and then they just decided to revamp the game.
Yeah.
They succeeded.
Yeah, it was a great choice because like Syndicate is one of my favorites in the series, and I was really surprised at how much better it was, because Unity was such... I never even finished Unity, and I was excited for that one because as a history major, I really love Revolutionary France, and it just was just a mashup of crap that just... It just didn't play very well. It didn't come across very well. It wasn't very fun. I can't even tell you the main character's name because I didn't bother playing it that much. But then once they came out with Syndicate, I was like, awesome, it's turning back around. And then they completely revamped it, which was the best thing they could have done.
Yeah. Well, as a history student myself, I've enjoyed Assassin's Creed series precisely because of their representation of history, even with a little fiction here and there. But it was fun. It was something that I could just play and feel myself as a participant of those events. And yeah, I mean, when I played Unity, I just I can't remember any character from it actually. It's just generic Frenchman 1, generic Frenchman 2, and the worst thing is none of them had a French accent. Like,
No, they
what
were
the
all
hell?
English.
Yes, what the hell? I mean, why?
I can't remember the
How?
assassin's name, and that is driving me crazy, so I'm actually going to look right here.
I'll call him Bland Louis or something like that.
Arno.
Bland
So-
Louis has better ring to it.
Jet makes a really good point here about Mass Effect. The universe had so much history that was barely touched on, and they could have gone into so much detail, bring out characters we had heard of but never met, and open the universe. Now, that makes me think of the problems with Fallout. The original 3 games had, well, I shouldn't say original, but the original couple games plus 3 had a lot of lore. They followed the story really well. New Vegas took it, ran with it. But then 4, and I'm not bashing on it, I really love 4. I've played it like 5 times. Like, it's, still, something I really just enjoy to sit down with. But they cut out a lot of the lore and just kind of made crap up as they went. And now that's causing problems with 76.
Yeah, pretty much that. I'm actually was excited for Fallout 4 since I thought that they will touch about what happened after New Vegas, what happened to the Caesar Legion, or maybe even go to Alaska, that stuff.
76 is
Well,
causing problems for 76. I know. I enjoyed playing it, but yeah, it's definitely not. I mean, let's be real though. No Fallout is New Vegas. But New Vegas. That is still my
Yeah,
number one
true that.
in my heart forever. But talking
Well,
about a company
actually-
taking a great game and improving on it, Red Dead Redemption 2 is my game of the year. Partially because I live in the Southwest and I'm totally biased. Also, a large reason why I love New Vegas so much. But partially because they just really outdid themselves, even for Rockstar.
Now, Rockstar has a history for outdoing themselves. I mean, look at GTA 5 and stuff.
Right, and they're great at it. And it's like I've been trying to play through Red Dead Redemption 1 since I no longer own a copy of Red Dead Revolver, which I don't think I'd be able to play it now, 14 years later. But I've been trying to play through Redemption, and it's hard. It's... After playing 2, it kind of sucks. Like, it's still a good game, but, it's really hard to dive into after 2 because the gameplay and everything just isn't the same. That, and I keep trying to change, my outfit and stuff, and I can't do that. And that, it's like a couple of mediocre outfits. I can't go out and change my vest and my hat. And
Yeah, I have same problems with other good games that had great sequels. I mean, like Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 1. I can't play Mass Effect 1 as good, as I've played it before. It just... it's still a good game, but it has flaws that were fixed in Mass Effect 2, even if it had cut some of the parts that I've enjoyed, like some RPG progression, different ammo and stuff. Now the guns Sorry, I'm just about guns in Mass Effect 2. I'm still not over it. I'm still not over it.
Jet, what you're talking about is largely what I want to talk about with Bethesda next week. It's not so. Yeah, I agree that fans not accepting that there are problems is a large part of it, but it's also by not accepting there's problems and saying something about it, the developers are like, oh, they like it. There's no problem with it. Let's just keep going with it. And then, yeah, that you end up with launch week of Fallout 76, which is still a good game. Like, I love it. It's a lot of fun. But, it doesn't touch on the same level as even Fallout 4, which is saying something.
Yeah, it doesn't add up to other games in the series.
Exactly. And that does become a problem because then they start to lose money on it and then they try to make changes and by that point, the fans are already like, nah, I'm good. Assassin's Creed got lucky. When they released Syndicate, they were able to build up a lot of hype, so they did sell quite a few um, copies and, still had people on board come Origins, which really turned it around. 76 is a
Yeah,
disaster. There's a lot of potential. There is a lot of potential. And there is a lot of things that you can make your own fun with. It's just a matter of stop and listen to what people are saying.
well,
Like,
Fallout 76 lost me at one point, actually. No interest in NPCs. No NPCs at all, if I remember correctly.
such as picking on Blast. That is the best part about 76 is picking on Blast.
I
Yeah,
mean, it's the best part of life, picking on glass.
exactly. See, you guys get me. I have no problem. Well, I usually have no problem with the NPC thing because there are NPCs. They're robots, but I enjoy the robots in. Also, the best part of D&D. Yes, I'm excited. I really enjoy the robots in the Fallout series, but when I find human NPCs and their dead bodies, that's a little annoying. Like, why is every freaking person in West Virginia, besides myself and this other player that just ran by and Vlast, dead? Like, come on, there's got to be somebody alive. My God, that gets
come
annoying.
on. I mean, how Vlast isn't dead if our people are dead?
This is what he gets for not being on the show today. He gets picked on.
Exactly.
He's not even here to defend himself.
Damn. Now I feel like he's Germany, and in 44 he gets hit from both America and Russia.
Oh, really? Sorry, my husband is texting me important things. I will deal with him in a minute. He can wait 10 minutes. Uh, he's dealing with university stuff. But, anyway, yeah, that's like my biggest problem with the NPC thing is every time, like I was doing the Fire Breathers quest line last night, and I found a bunch of these, fire breather responder people, and they were all dead. And like all their notes and stuff were like, oh, nobody's ever passed this test because we all died. And I'm like, this is bull. I'm level 18 and just ran through and did it like nothing. And you guys are all these like, big bad responder guys and all this gear. And I'm like, no, this is a crock. Stop it. Just.
Well, actually, it's a problem with many games. I mean, especially where you are a chosen one, or well, it's a problem with any games where you have a main character. You need to show that he is a badass, that he can do things that other can't, and sometimes it paints people that in the lore should be competent and should just, squash you like a bug, lose to you where you are like level 8 and armed only with a pointy stick.
Yeah, especially when the rest of the series has these great characters that have awesome stories or they're just like total badasses. And then you get into this world where everybody just kind of they're dead or, like at least make the robots more interesting because when I look at some through the older games, especially like Curie. Oh my god, I love Curie in Fallout 4. I think she's probably my favorite companion and one of my favorite characters in the entire game. They haven't even put half of that amount of personality in the NPCs in 76. Even a quarter of Curie's personality in 76. Like at least put half of Fisto's personality. My god. At this point, it's just getting boring.
Fisto's personality would make Fallout 76 in the best game ever, especially if every robot has a Fisto personality.
Are you listening, Bethesda? Do this. Game of 2019.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Especially if you're just trying to pawn some stuff and there's an option to trade and the trader says, okay, assume position. And you have a discount for that.
Oh, another issue I have is the vendor bots do not give you caps for crap. You'll sell like a gun and it's like, oh, 2 caps, and I'm like, I might as well just scrap it and use the metal and stuff for something else because it's not worth it. But that, and when it's like 100 something caps for one stim pack, but I'm getting 1 cap a piece for everything I sell, it gets, but all in all, like we've seen, there's a lot of games of 2018 where it really shows either they improved on the series as a whole, like Red Dead Redemption 2 didn't even have to improve. They did it just because why not?
Mhm.
God of War didn't have to improve, but they put out one hell of a game. But Assassin's Creed Odyssey just blew me out of the water. Like it's what I've been playing lately, and 76, like Nurek just said, has a lot of bad design choices. Hard copy paste from Fallout 4 and Skyrim into 76. Yeah, it seems like they just kind of did a hard copy paste, like you said, and then were
And I
lazy with the rest of it.
deleted. Well, the problem is they did hard copy paste, but they deleted what made those games good in terms of Skyrim and enjoyable in terms of Fallout 4.
Personality and care are what made Fallout 4 a lot of fun, what made Skyrim one of the best games ever made. 76 doesn't have that. It was,
Exactly.
let's focus on getting it to work online, which even that they didn't do all that great. And they focused more on like the monsters and stuff than actually creating. And like there's tons of quests, there's lots to do. The world is cool. It's definitely not as big as the Commonwealth in Fallout 4, like they said it was going to be, but it's just there's not as much heart in it, if that makes sense. The questing system is also basically the worst it could be. It's not multiplayer, it's up to 4 people. Okay, yeah, up to 4 people bothers me because I would like to play with 5 or 6 people, which is saying something because I usually don't play with anybody at all, but I want to play with more than, 3 other people, and 4 people playing
Yeah,
single player together. Yeah, like we were doing some quests last night, Vlast and I, and we would both have to go and do the same thing to pass the quest. But if you're in an event, one person does whatever needs to be done, it's done. You're good. But when you're doing an individual, like an actual quest, individually we were having to go through and do the exact same thing. It's a game that
Which
when it's
is-
fixed will have a lot to do, just no soul to the game. It's a grab to get into the online multiplayer market. That is exactly what it is, which bothers me because I don't care for online multiplayer to begin with. The only reason they've got me is because I'm obsessed with Fallout and I enjoy playing it. Doesn't need to be Borderlands level questing. But if you're within a zone, count that progress. Seriously, when I'm standing next to V and he, logs into the terminal and does whatever we need to do, it should just count. Just move on. Let's go. I don't have to sit and
Well,
read
it,
everything. Let's just go. But yeah, no soul
well,
to the game is a really good way to put it.
yeah. Uh, they, you're just basically playing a party of uncommunicative, deaf guys who just happened to be around each other.
Basically.
No cooperation. I mean, it's practically a no-brainer to make some cooperative quests where you, for example, one guy has to do something while other guy should do something else to make something work.
Right.
I mean, for example, you need to open some gate in a bunker. Some guys should, for example, lower the gates. Some guy should hack into the database to grant access, something like that, to remove the defensive system, something like that. It's easy, and I'm stupid. Bethesda has much better people. Why didn't they think of that?
Right. And the only time that you really need co-op, and this is the only reason I don't play it by myself, because you can totally do everything else alone, is enemies come in hordes. And they're not, it's not like, oh, a bunch of level 15s. It's like a level 15, a level 13, a level 5, a couple 22s, and a fucking level 45 in the middle of them. Oh my god, that kills me every time. And that's the only time you really need to work with somebody else is enemies. I'm constantly calling Vlast for help. I'm sure I drive him crazy, but he's like 12 or 13 levels higher than I am. So when I get like bombarded by anything, I'm just like panicking and screaming. You should watch the stream sometime. It gets entertaining. It is unbalanced. The enemies are really really unbalanced.
Also, Jet, while the Elder Scrolls Online had some problems like that and still has, it's still pretty good game right now. It wasn't at release, but it is pretty good right now. I mean, some of my friends play it. I play it from time to time, and it's really a good game. That's well, how to say it? That's an example of how to transfer your single-player game into multiplayer one.
It took them a while to get there, though.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure it will take a while for Bethesda and Fallout 76 to get there.
Yeah, probably.
Even longer, probably, since ESO had bases covered already. Fallout 76 doesn't quite have that right now.
Right. But a big difference is ESO was like unplayable at launch. 76 is at least, fun enough to sit and, me and Vlasta played it like 3 times in the last week, and we're talking about starting Fallout Fridays here on stream because we do enjoy it. It just needs some fixes.
No.
Unplayable is one word.
Also, well, the problem is Fallout 76 is based on the engine and everything else of Fallout 4, which was a pretty good game, enjoyable. Well, it was a pretty good, enjoyable game. For the Elder Scrolls Online, they had to remade the engine, they had to remade the map and everything else. They had to remade to be multiplayer, actually.
And that's because ESO wasn't actually made by Bethesda. They just published it. So the people who made it, they didn't have access to the engine and coding and everything that they used for Skyrim or any of the others.
Yeah. Well, all the talk just made my longing for the Elder Scrolls 6 all the worse.
I would rather wait for Elder Scrolls 6 and have a good, honest, heart-filled game like Skyrim than have them try to rush it like they did with 76.
Yeah, I really hope that they wouldn't rush it. I mean, it would kill me. And it would kill Bethesda for me.
Wait, ESO punished you for being in a party?
Wait, what? What?
Yikes.
Yikes, indeed.
Like
I
why would you have
mean-
an online game if you
Yeah.
couldn't be in a party?
Why would you have a bug like that? It's... How? How does that make any sense?
Wow. Yeah, that's a big
That's
problem.
unfortunate. That's unfortunate.
And as one thing I'll give Bethesda on 76 is they are getting on top of things. Had to complete quests separately because when one member completed it, you would disappear from their world. What?
Ah, I see. It's world phasing or something like that.
Yeah, that's a bad bug.
It's a bad bug. Problem is, apparently it didn't transfer party members as well. Unlike, for example, World of Warcraft world phasing was in like Cataclysm or something. So unlike in there, it just didn't transfer. But it was a beta test, so have to give it that.
I will give Bethesda that they are doing what they can to get 76 fixed before they lose too many players. And instead of taking a year or two like they did with ESO, they put out. I posted it in the Discord channel. They put out a I don't really want to call it a letter, but a blog post, I guess, about how on the 14th they're doing another big update. They're going to put out notes and everything. I'm not 100% sure what's included. And then next month they're putting out another large one. So they're doing better. So yeah, they're trying. For the first time in a decade, they're trying. They are. They've realized, oh, we messed up and people are mad at us. And which Bethesda's always been one of my favorite developers. They've always, put out some of my... Sorry, dog. They've always put out some of my favorite games, but they really, shot themselves in the foot this time. But they're slowly picking out the pieces.
I'll say that they shot themselves in the foot with a cannon.
Yeah. They pretty much blew the foot off. They're stitching it back together.
Well, let's hope that they will manage to do it. Because I still love Bethesda for all their bugs and issues and, how they fucked over, sorry for bad language, Obsidian with New Vegas. But still, I love them.
Yeah, they have grown lazy, but I think they're starting to realize that doesn't work. You can't just be lazy and half-ass things and expect people to continue to be loyal.
Well, now that I think, most of the big companies grew lazy in the last 15 years.
A lot of them have, and I think that's why seeing so much work put into things like Red Dead Redemption 2 and God of War has really brought a lot of attention. Everybody always relies on companies like Rockstar to put out quality games, but then when you release it alongside something like Fallout 76, it's like, okay, yeah, it is totally clear who is putting in the work and the dedication and just the love for making video games compared to just the love of making money. Hopefully their backers don't just shut them down. I don't think it's going... I don't want to have to stop. I don't think Bethesda's going anywhere, especially because they do have the Elder Scrolls coming and stuff like that. But for now, I think they should count themselves lucky that the Elder Scrolls is still a way off because they might lose a lot of sales and interest for all the hate Rockstar gets from some of the stuff they do. They do make good games, and they do a really good job with it. My God, Red Dead Redemption 2 is so good.
They do create a great job. They do create great games. And I think that Bethesda revealed The Elder Scrolls 6 this year only because if they didn't, they would be crucified somewhere and thrown in the ditch.
Yeah,
I mean,
people would be really, really skeptical about Elder Scrolls 6 if it was, at the back door right now. The people would be like, probably not. It's not going to be any good. But the fact that it's still a few years out, while some people are tired of waiting already, I would rather wait than have a rushed piece of crap.
exactly. I just hope that we won't get another Daggerfall.
Yeah, we've
I
seen
mean,
too many rushed games
especially-
lately.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, now that I think about it, 2018 is a big wake-up call for many of big gaming companies. I mean, some companies just pushed out really great games. And to compare to them, other great companies have to pick up their slack and just start actually trying to do great games. And if they don't, I mean, EA's tax fell down big this year and the year before it. It just shows that, in my opinion at least, that many people just get tired of getting the same blend and just recycled games every year. And so gaming companies should just actually put an effort to regain the trust of the people.
Yeah, I agree with Jet. With the stocks crashing, 2018 was, it was way more than a wake up call. It was a kick in the nuts for a lot of these guys that what they're doing is not working anymore. People aren't going to put up with it, especially when indie companies are putting out better games that are completely new, completely unique, a quarter of the price and holding up so much better than a lot of the AAAs.
Yeah, and our AAAs, as I said, took the challenge and exceeded expectations. I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2, God of War, well, everything from your list
Yeah, there's some
is
other
just great.
there are some other good AAAs this year, but then you look at games like this is like a totally different type of game, but look at Stardew Valley. It was developed by one man, and he put out a better game than Bethesda over the last few years. It's just a huge. Indie games are made with a small, passionate team with a view and a goal. AAA games become backed by people who don't care and are only interested in the bottom dollar. Exactly, that's the problem. That they're finally realizing is they've lost that passion, and so they're losing the players.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one of my favorite games is RimWorld, which has graphics of potato. Like, I mean, literally, people there look like potatoes. And it's still one of the greatest game I've ever played.
Yeah, and that's and there's also a surgence of people who are enjoying the pixelated graphics, games like Stardew Valley, Graveyard Keeper, Celeste. They are really like they have a nostalgia to them, but they also show these are the people who care more than the people who have these graphics that look like they come out of a freaking movie, Although,
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey is utterly gorgeous, but they are redeeming themselves. It's a big difference between them and Bethesda or Activision.
Yeah, exactly. And indie games actually have bigger freedom, in my opinion, to do stuff that they envisioned. They are not really cornered by, I don't know, board of directors, by their investors, by stocks and other our how to say it, corporate bullshit.
Yep.
So they just can do what they are passionate about. They can create games that they want to create.
And this is
They are
a perfect spot to end today and pick up next week, because this is exactly what we're talking about next week: is the good, the bad, or not even the good, the bad, the ugly, and the dumpster fire, because it's getting ridiculous. So that's
yeah.
gonna
So
be our
we'll be here to put a bucket of sand in the dumpster fire.
good, the bad, and the dice. Yes. That might be the title of next week. But yeah, that's a great place to stop this week. There was
Yeah.
some great points.
Today we've talked about good in the gaming of 2018. Next week we'll be talking about the bad, ugly, and the dice.
Yeah,
It could be a great show.
we can talk about all the nonsense that some of these companies have done over the last few years, some of the nonsense that's went on over the last few months, and maybe where we can see some changes in 2019. Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, bye everyone, and let's hope for the best for this year.
Yeah, everyone, thanks for hanging out. I think I might be streaming Sea of Thieves or 76 later tonight. Definitely will be on 76 again this week. And here this next week, I'll probably be on a little bit more. I might not be on this weekend because I've got in-laws stuff going on, but it'll be fun. So thanks so much for hanging out, guys. We will see you soon.
Thanks.